This is video 75 of 101. This video is about the outside world. Today's video is going to be a little bit of story time, a little bit of opinion time, and just trying to wrap it all up into a nice little message here. When I was growing up, I was very blessed. My parents worked really hard and they were able to provide pretty much every single basic necessity that I needed, but beyond that, they were able to provide me with certain toys that I'd like to play with. I could do any kind of activity. I could hang out with friends. I could have cool birthday parties. If I wanted to go on trips or something, well, I didn't want to go on the trips, but if my parents wanted to go on trips, I was able to come with them, and we traveled a lot to see family around Canada, and I got to experience a lot of cool things when I was younger. I was also in private school too, so I kind of lived in like this little bubble where everything is great and the world is fine and nothing was really that bad. Like, I had a really awesome childhood and I'm really thankful that I had that. And then as I got to become more of a teenager, I started to still be in this little bubble, but I was obviously battling all my hormones and my body changing, and so there was a lot of angst in my life, of course, and so I started to do like bad things. I started to act out and be really rebellious and just to be kind of annoying and really just not appreciative of the things that were around me. And then when I was 16, I just had this mental shift where I realized, holy shit, there is an entire world out there. And I knew it was out there, obviously, but I just realized that like I could go any place in this world. I became so mindful that there were people outside of this bubble. And that realization when I was 16, I call it when I turned mindful, popped my bubble completely. And my parents were trying to pop it as I was getting older. They were saying, you know, we won't be able to pay for your things forever. You know, you're gonna have to get a job and you're gonna have to provide for yourself one day, which made me even more angry because I was like, well, I don't want to work hard. I just want to have fun all the time. That was kind of my motivation. I just wanted to have a lot of fun. And then when I was 16, yeah, so I changed and everything became more mindful. I became so much more aware of the people around me, other people's struggles, and the fact that everyone goes through hard times. And I started to see successful people, not as successful people on this unattainable level. I started to see successful people from where they started from. I started to look at things and see processes around them. Essentially what would happen is I would see successful people. I would look at the quotes that they would say, the reasons why they were successful, and I would really bring that back down to some core points on how I can make that reflective in my life right now. And so the end of this, really, I think that being a successful person, it's really just about these kind of qualities, about working hard, about finding something you're passionate about getting out there into that industry and really just working your ass off. And like, that's the key to success, is just loving something and doing it. And being successful doesn't mean you have to be a celebrity and you're adored by millions of fans. Being successful literally just means that you're doing the thing that you love to do. A lot of my friends, we would still see the world as just like we were here as these kids in a suburban area and we were just going to grow up and be just like our parents, and it was very limiting to think about that. And that's all I thought. I thought, yeah, maybe I'll go and I'll live in the city or something and I'll have a nice apartment and I can do business meetings just like my dad does, or I can do something creative like my mom does. As I started to become more mindful, I realized that every single person who is ever successful is literally the same kind of person as me, and not like, you know, we have the same qualities, but literally they're a human being and I'm a human being, and we are all human beings and we are all capable of incredible things. But these successful people, they just pushed themselves and they just kept going. They pushed and failed and pushed and failed and pushed and failed. But if you want to say it another way, they pushed and learned and pushed and learned and kept going. And this pushing themselves and this learning and getting better every single time is what finally brought them up to their success. And really, that's something possible for anybody. Anybody is able to push themselves and to find a goal and to find a dream and work really hard at it. You know, you may not end up where exactly you wanted to be when you were first imagining it when you were 10 years old, but you're going to end up where you were meant to be as long as you keep pushing forward in life. Everything changes when you stop absorbing everybody else's frequencies around you and you start to emit your own frequency, because that is how you're going to create your own path in life. By emitting your own frequency, you're going to pave your way and you're going to see a lot more clearly. When I was younger, I'd have this idea, or even a few years ago, I'd have this idea of where I wanted to be. I wanted to influence people. I wanted to have an impact on the world and on change, and change the world on a global scale. I mean, to whatever degree that ends up being. But that was my idea, and I wanted to be successful, and I wanted to have the ability to not just buy things for myself, but the ability to support anybody starting out. So I really wanted to have that quality. The way it ended up, like, I started a business, and then now here I am doing these videos and working full-time at a totally different job just to support myself. but it's been incredible. And this journey, every time I've changed my direction, if you will, I've just felt stronger about where I'm going. So just start with what you think you want to do, and then just get out there and start doing things. Get out there into the world and just take a class, go volunteer somewhere, go somewhere that you haven't been before, experience something new, and you'll be amazed at how much you can actually do. These small experiences end up amounting to a lot of things, because sometimes you can go somewhere and you see one thing that inspires you, and then you don't think about it for a week, and then you come back and see something else that inspires you, and everything just clicks, and then there's this idea there in front of you, and you can grab that idea or you can walk away from it. But if you grab that idea, it's going to pull you somewhere amazing. And maybe it's not going to pull you all the way to the end, but it'll pull you somewhere that's going to get you somewhere else, that's going to get you somewhere else, and you're just going to keep going on that path until you end up where you're meant to be. I think that is amazing, and the fact that any human, it's possible for us to do that. And that is what successful people have done. They have just taken every single opportunity they possibly had. They've tried to experience as much as possible, tried to learn as much as possible by failing. Failure is the best lesson, because failure makes you look into yourself and realize, what did I do wrong? How can I get better? If you succeed at something, that's awesome. But when you fail at something, you want to get better. And that, pushing yourself, that growth is what's going to finally lead you to success at the end. And truly, personally, I don't think there's ever like an end point to success. I think you're gonna reach a peak where you're like, yeah, I'm comfortable and I can plateau here for a while, but I think you should always be building up and up and up and just getting better and better every single day. I don't think you ever grow old until you stop learning. So all we need to remember is that everyone in this world is going through something. The world owes us nothing. If we want to be successful, we need to push ourselves. We need to work hard. We need to earn it. Success will never come if you don't earn it. And besides, even if you were like born into a rich family or something like that, where you're like, yeah, I have all the money in the world, I don't think I could work a day in my life. Do you really appreciate that though? Do you really appreciate all these things that you've just been given? Honestly, I would never want to win the lottery, because I would never want something that I didn't deserve, something that I didn't work for. I would much rather work really, really hard and then make a living where I can say, wow, all of this is because I earned it, because I worked really hard, I didn't stop, I didn't give up. And that feeling is so much more satisfying, so much more fulfilling. Driving up a mountain, the view ends up being pretty great, but hiking up the mountain, the view is spectacular.